Recording in progress.
Okay.
Okay, Leo. First of all, I wanted to say a big thank you for saying yes for the invitation for this talk. I don't want to say interview because basically I want to talk to you as my teacher, in frame of my scholarship research program, which is about the mental crisis of a performer. But first of all, I would like to ask you to say something, who you are.
Mm-hmm.
So introduce yourself, please, in your words.
Yeah. I consider myself an actor, and this make me in the right position also as a teacher. And even though in the last 8 years I've been teaching much more than being on stage as an actor, I like to introduce myself as an actor because I find myself very much at home in theater. I find very much comfortable in talking with to directors, talking to actors, students of acting, much more than I can feel at my ease when I go with managers or professionals who needs to improve their voice. And also as a voice teacher, this give me the field where I like to research. And I think that what we are doing as voice teachers is very, very useful to many other professionals. But somehow I'm proud to say that we are starting from a voice in theater, which means to use the voice not only to convey a message, but a message that is much more complex than the word that have been said. And to my actors, I try to give this feeling that it's not a matter to let the text be understood, which is the basic work, but is what is around all of this that is interesting for the audience. And it's there that I want them to invest their energy. So this is what I am professionally. In life, I feel very much a father now in these days. Having 2 children is it's very interesting to combine professional life, private life, and now that they are getting older, that they're starting more interested in okay, but what do you do at work? Well, yeah, you're teaching, but what do you teach? And this is also a very interesting experience to go through. How to explain this crazy world that theater is, so unpredictable, so unsure, always new, to children that need their routine, to have to know where things are, what to do. It's a challenge in the challenge.
Okay, but how you explain to them the voice work you teach? Do you explain to them, or you train with them? Have you played?
No, there is this amazing space that is Stromboli where they come, and all the lessons are open air, so it's really very easy to pass by, to see what is happening in the studio, and to hear what happens in the studio, and both of them, they happen to just to follow sessions of the lesson and then just to enjoy to see if they could follow the instruction. And that for me is it's really an opening and involving them in what I do. And really is the experience of being not separated in professional life, private life, hobby, because everything gets together. And very often there in Stromboli, I have also the occasion in the last years, this is where I had the opportunity to be myself an actor and a teacher and a director and an organizer and a father all at once, which gives this wholeness, I don't know, fullness of the experience that is very hard to find back in normal life, everyday life.
Yes, yes. Oh, you've mentioned a very important, for me, a very important thing, quite interesting also in frame of my research. You speak about the wholeness of all this, how all those activities, directing, performing, teaching, on the example of Stromboli, is kind of blending in everyday life. So I would like to ask you more specifically about the voice work you do, because you are a designated Linklater teacher, and we have this talk also because you were my teacher during my teacher's training to become designated Linklater teacher, and I found out that this approach to actor's voice, but to human's voice, is very, yes, it is specific and kind of different than other approaches. Because speaking about the actors quartet, the body, voice, emotions, intellect conducted by the imagination, it's quite unique, I believe. And this is, for me, the key to open up the space from theater to everyday life, because this is the same voice I use. I'd like you to talk maybe a little bit about your experience as a designated Linklater teacher, and yes, how do you relate also personally to this work? What it means to you?
Yeah. Well, it's for me, it's very much teaching the Linklater technique, the Linklater method to students, and so I really try to transmit, to share, to teach what I've been taught by meeting Christine Linklater and other Linklater teachers, very important for me, as Alessandro Fabrizi or Susan Main, Paula Langton, which is the specific use of the voice and expression of myself, of the human being, and so never separate the sound of the voice from where the voice comes from, never be distracted by how the actors sound, and always try to look how to connect deeply with what he is and what he want to say, what he want to communicate, to share through the voice. And so for me, it's really, I'm not working, the voice is the person. This is, I've got it from Christine. The voice is not the sound of the person. The voice is the person. So to work on voice is to work on the person, and to work with young actors, young students, is to enter in a place through the voice where they're finding themselves. They don't know what their voice can express. They don't know what their personality can be on stage. And so I really try to open possibilities, not to give shape, but to let them experience their possibilities in terms of voice and acting. And I think this is very powerful, because it's something that I'm talking about the Linklater work. It's really something that brings the opportunity to work on yourself through the voice, which is a practice which is somehow something that feeds yourself, and something that makes sense to the actor work. Now, especially working with students at the last year, where they start to get nervous. Will I get work? When I work, when I be rehearsing, I want to use the Linklater word map to get to the best of my voice. But I try to tell them, as an actor, you are not working, maybe, because there will be weeks where you're working by yourself on auditions, or sometimes you wait for the next audition, but you don't stop to be an actor. You don't stop to work on yourself, and you have a tool to do it, which is very important, to continue to do some work that you can do on yourself, even without a script, even without a director, even without a show to be performed. And this is this give, when you get to that point that you can work on yourself through the Linklater method, this gives you an extreme freedom. This, I think, this is the sense of the free your voice, free yourself, because you as an artist, you doesn't need anyone else that recognize you as an artist, because your work recognize you as a working actor.
Wow. Yes. Last I don't know, a couple of years old, there is a period of time where you are teaching much more than performing. So, and having a context of what you just described in a very beautiful way. How do you feel about that? What is this? Is that this unbalanced, elements of the craft? Are they influencing your everyday life? Like are you missing performing?
Probably in the last year more than in previous years. I start to feel the appetite for stage, and this unbalance. I feel that it's unbalanced because when I start to train as a teacher, I really my wish was to balance acting and teaching. I simply find myself in the difficulties to find this balance, because offers it's not always a matter of okay, I choose this and I choose this, and so I combine. It's where the life takes you, the professional life takes you. So I remember Christine's laughing and smiling and saying, you cannot even imagine how many people needs to have voice work. And so I'm starting to get to this. A lot of people asking me to be a teacher more than asking me to be an actor.
Yes.
But out of this, I find that there is a strong element of acting in teaching, and so this is how I deal with this, and especially teaching at the teacher training, and so having that very interesting confrontation of how each of us received Christian work in different period of life, different period of Christian's teaching. And so Françoise, who was one of the earliest who remember things in a way that then she developed in a different way, and to find also this conflict, I found it extremely alive. I mean, Christine thought the work more as I think more as a commedia dell'arte canovaccio, something.
He was performing. He was performing so much.
You have this, but every time the audience change, so you have to adapt this script to more than something that is put on the book and must be done always with the same script. And so this, and I found that in the little changes that we could all witness, I said, oh, she did that, but then she changed it, and the essence of the work was there. The more she changed it, the more she stayed rooted in the essential experience of the work that is connected to human life, which is changeable, developing always, and I found that this is something that I try to keep fresh in my mind, even when now that with experience I have already my notes ready for, okay, this lesson is it's like this, okay, it's going to be like this, and to keep it open to things to happen, more than something that goes smooth from the beginning to the end.
Yes, I believe it's impossible to teach voice in the way that is so like closed in the cage, and you always know what's next, because it needs to be alive. But what you said made me feel, and this is something I remember from observing your classes a month ago in Rome. I even put that into notes because it was in Italian, so I don't speak Italian, but I kind of get it. And I wrote in my notebook that you teach the class, I don't know, about breathing awareness, or what was that, the touch of sound, in the way like you are literally telling the story about that. Just by this, I was experiencing, by listening to your voice and by observing your presence, absolutely alive, something that is a story about, I don't know, breathing awareness, which I believe opens the path for your students to enter and to become a part of the story. And then it makes much more fascinating for me all the voice work we do, that like in frame of Linklater approach. Then I adore saying that it is a bit like performing in a very good way, because you are taking the action to encourage people to become a part of the story, and the story is about voice. And if there is the essence, like you said, Christine was changing things, but the essence was always there, something essential, the very core of the work, then it's always new and interesting and fresh. Yeah, thank you for this thought. Because I didn't think about that before in that way. Well, my research project is coming to the end with the end of December, and more I am thinking about the word crisis. I'm like, uh, I don't like it so much because it sounds a bit violent to me. But I don't want to think about that in such a big dramatic way, because we can experience small crises, on everyday basis. But there can be such a situation that a performer is in this gap moment, a moment of crisis, where when something is unbalanced, maybe the actors quartet is unbalanced, and
Mm.
and something is like, I wanted to ask you, because maybe you have some experience or some ideas, uh, what we can do for ourselves to find out what is unbalanced, and then start to work on this using the craft, the actor's craft. So something that I believe we should embody.
Because I think that if you are able to take the crisis as an opportunity to learn something, but if I look to my life, being in crisis is very difficult to realize that you are in a developing project, in a development, in a moment of growth. You just, for me, I
Mm-hmm.
was confused and angry, and I felt very much the desire to escape, to go away, to go far from the crisis, which is not a solution. It's not the way. But and so there is a part of me that is very scared about crisis, and I'm thinking more now in the as a director, because I've been directing plays in the last 3 years at school, and in that process, I could see that I always met a crisis at a certain point. And it was the shifting moment of the show, because it was the moment where we could look at each other and see, okay, this is not working. We have to find a new way. So it's not my plan that we can use. We have to find the plan that work for this group in this moment on this text. We have to develop devices. And it's really, I mean, it's scary, but in that moment, a lot of energies and a lot of fresh energies released. And I don't know if this can be put in terms of a solution, but I think that what in the practice of art, what we are somehow trained to is to don't skip that moment, to stay the moment, to live the moment with body, emotions, and don't consider it as as a problem, because the problem is the solution. The conflict is what we like, what we want to is the reason why we are doing art. I mean, the crisis is what produce art. This is because we go to theater, because we want to deal with this, and and as an artist, if I wasn't able to deal with this, to go through a crisis, I couldn't be able to direct actors. I couldn't be able to read text about the crisis. It's very subtle, but I think it's impossible to skip. Then there are, I don't know, several level of crisis, but I find it very productive moment of the artist's life to deal with.
Yes, I agree. I think it can be very creative, actually, and then to find a way to unlock the energy that is hidden. It's like a tension, you know. If I could relate that to the work, when we work around tension and relaxation, meaning letting go and letting the energy go, then this is very creative moment. But it requires a specific way of thinking about that, accepting fear that is included somehow, but then to not follow the fear, but follow the curiosity. That's probably something like this. Yes.
And also talking with you, I think really to go for it somehow, to go for the crisis, to go for the little knots that doesn't really let things go smooth, even in a single lesson somehow, to deal with that, to be able to sit down and talk and say, okay, let's talk about that. Let's name it, because this is the way to deal with that. I think that ideally, I don't want for a students of mine to go through the lessons without any crisis. It would be boring and useless.
Yes, I adore moments of
but I
confusion.
understand. Yeah, but I understand that. I understand while your work is what's the tool to deal, because I don't want to leave the students without the tools to deal with the crisis, because the crisis, he will face crisis. Am I giving him the instruments to deal with, to recognize, don't be paralyzed, and don't fly away?
Yes.
This is as a teacher, I feel very much. This is and if I may say, also as a father, to be able to, I cannot avoid him to have a crisis. But what happened in that crisis? How to deal with that? What to make of that? How to go through that?
I wanted to ask one more thing. In your experience as a teacher, as a voice teacher, because you mentioned the element of talking about that, and this is something significant for Linklater work. We start from talking, or we sit and talk after one chapter of the work, or to accomplish something, and to not spoil the topic. Why is it so important sometimes to sit and talk about the experience? Not to over talk the experience, but to put into words what happened. Why?
I tell students that for me is a moment to take awareness of what happened, and to somehow to recognize that in our being, in our human being, or artistic being, there's something more connected with the happiness.
Coś się zacięło.
To the realization of what you have been doing, how to process it, doesn't get into the practice of the show. And so this is how I encourage people to explain. But I think in Christian work, there is something deeper than this. There is something that really go to the faith of the spoken word to create connections among human beings. And this is, I think, something very ancestral, but I think very much that is something that goes why we are doing these things, why we are doing voice work, because I believe that if you say the word becomes something real, become an action that can create community, can create healing, can create beauty, can create art. But it's important to get to that point. It's important to encourage this generosity of opening yourself, not in the habitual way, but in a deep way that happens when we sit down after an experience and we can talk about a common experience and make something of that. That there is really, I don't know what is going to happen there. I don't want them to get to any place, if not to the place to open themselves. And this is also, as a teacher, is very challenging because you have always these 3 or 4 students who always talk, and those 2 or 3 that never talk.
Yes.
And so it's always to
not push them, but to encourage them to use their voices. Yes.
Absolutely. And sometimes they have very interesting things to say if you allow them to talk, if you allow them to, if you find a way to unlock the art to express what is in.
I really like the expression, the faith in spoken word. I will remember that. Because I believe in that too.
Do you agree that is it's Christian things? I mean,
yes.
I love her exercise, but I think she taught a lot in just asking questions.
Yes.
Simply asking questions.
I didn't understand that at the beginning. Also, my English was almost not there, very, very bad. But I was also very scared about speaking in English, the only one, the youngest in the group, etc., etc. But then I started to wait for a moment of sit down and find words and keep this game between my imagination, experience, and searching for words alive. It started to be very fascinating to speak, to find words, to share the experience. Because as you said, sometimes people have such an interesting, inspiring things to say. Like it can really open another world because someone found such a beautiful words or dramatic words or something. So the process of learning is going on, but very often people are opening voices, sighing, rolling down spines, or even running in a training room and doing some noises, sounds, and then they sit down and the voice is tiny and it's like nothing happened, which is a very interesting moment. Always makes me think, okay, why is it happening, and then what can I do about that? I think that's sharing the truth experience is a big thing in humans' life. To not hide also behind words, but to speak what's really in me. I think I'd like only to ask you one more thing. Where possibly one who would search you as a teacher would find you offering some work? Because of course you work in Teatro Azione, but you lead the workshops, you lead the regular group in Rome, but I believe there is maybe Stromboli in the future, or can you say something about that so I can spread the word?
I mean, Stromboli is is this space where I love to think it as a meeting point, an international hub of our research. I'm very, very, very. I think this starts from the disappointment of the Orkney closure, and I'm really. I mean, there is also there. I think Kristin wanted to teach us something that you need to disconnect from your habitual life, and it's very important to find space, connection with nature, take a trip to find your voice. Don't always expect it to have the teacher coming to your home doing 1 hour private lesson and you got it. And so I'm really looking for these places. I'm really now I found a place, in the north, in the Alps, actually, in summer, where I mean, I visit that. It's a very special place. And so I'm thinking about that would be a nice place to do voice work because connect people, take them away would be a nice meeting place. So this is for my future, my professional future life, and it could be also, there is also theater, so it could be also easy to find a space to use the voice to communicate.
That sounds great. Yes. Yes. Well, I still dream about going to Stromboli since I saw the Giving Voice documentary about Kristin, with Kristin. It sounds like a dream, but yes, what you say, going somewhere there in the mountains. Yes, I cross my fingers for you to do that.
Thank you.
Yes. Well, allora, I think I got it. And it's not an everyday situation that I can meet you and talk to you about something very specific. So I'm kind of glad also about myself for doing this for myself, stealing someone's time. Because I can develop myself as a teacher, but also myself as a performer, and at the end of the day, a human being. So thank you very much. And I think I learned something from this talk. Was that a good experience to talk with you? Polish students?
Yeah, absolutely. No, I felt very much in the designation, that was a big growth. This is something that needs to be, because to observe it is really a great opportunity to rethink everything.
Oh,
and
yes.
To share with others, and it's really amazing. And with you specifically, I'm glad that we have these conversations going on, because it's very interesting to meet on this work. And I think also it was good for me to talk about it after that you could see me in the class, even I know that in Italian was hard to get, but to have the spirit of how I deal with work, which after several years start to be my way. I can see that is my way, and at the beginning it was hard to be my way, but now I can really feel yeah, that's my style. I mean, you can see, and I'm interested in your style. I'm not saying this is the right style, but this is
Yes.
absolutely the way that I'm able to teach this work, and to share it is very precious. And to talk about after that, I feel more comfortable. That you can understand what I mean.
Yes, 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 yes. Oh.
Yeah, if there is any share of this work, it would be interesting. I don't know, maybe on Voice Link you will share.
Well, that's a good idea. That's a good idea.
No, please do because it's
Yes. Well, for now, what I will do also with the interview and the others, I would like to put it on my YouTube to have it somewhere, these talks that are very precious for me. And so I can accomplish my scholarship program, which is pain in the ass already. I want to finish that. But then I want to be free from deadlines. And I want to come back and yes, don't stop yourself. Welcome to my home. But yes, I'm really interested in the topic. I think it has a potential, and I believe that there is something richer than the scholarship that made me think about that, and and ask questions and question the work. And in New Year, probably I will come back and maybe I will try to write down something.
good.
Okay, Leo, thank you so much for your time. I wish you
Say
a
hello to
great
your
Monday.
husband. Thank you.
Hello, husband. And Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you.
Have a wonderful time with your family. And
Thank you.
yes,
Thank you.
be well. Bye, bye,
Thank
bye.
you. Ciao.
Ciao.